Hello everyone, this is Group 2. We will be discussing fats and oil industry. Fats and oils belong to lipids class of biomolecules, hydrophobic, esters of glycerol with 3 fatty acids, consist of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms, mainly used for food applications, also has industrial use such as biodiesel, paint and grease. For fats, solid at room temperature contains high proportion of long-chain saturated fatty acids, example like butter and cheese. For oils, liquid at room temperature, liquid fats contain a high proportion of long-chain unsaturated fatty acids or short-chain. Saturated fatty acids, example like palm oil and canola oil. For the background of history, ancient times, heating oily plants, skimming oil from boiling water was introduced. For the 1600s, tamper press. For the 1800s, roll mill by John Smeaton. 1900s, continuous mechanical screw press by Valerius Anderson. And lately, solvent extraction. Why do we need cooking oil? The oil actually keeps the food from sticking from the pan or the pot, serves as well a flavor transporter which enhances the flavor by bringing out its inner flavors. The maillard process is aided by oil, which is how we obtain the beautiful crispy outside fried meals.
So for the products are commonly produced or made in this industry are olive oils, canola oils, palm oils, coconut oils, and butter. And these oils are commonly made from different types of fats. Let's start with the first type of fat, unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat is compounds containing many carbon double bond carbon bonds, or also cis mono unsaturated or single double bond carbon bonds, and cis poly unsaturated, which are more than one carbon double bond carbons. These unsaturated fats are commonly liquid at room temperature. An example would be olive oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, and oil from nuts and seeds. Next is saturated fat. This compound contains few or no C double bond C or carbon double bond carbon bonds at all. They're typically solid at room temperature. An example would be butter, cheese, yogurt, coconut oil. To note, bottles of liquefied coconut oil have undergone extra processing. Lastly, we have the trans fats, are made from unsaturated fats through partial hydrogenation, and they're commonly solid at room temperature. One common example would be margarine. And to note, no naturally occurring fat is entirely 100% saturated or unsaturated, but they are referred to as saturated or unsaturated to the dominance of that type of fat.
The first step in vegetable oil production is to use a magnet on oil seeds and nuts in order to remove traces of metal. Then, a hammer is used to crush the seeds and increase its surface area. Next, it will go into a screw press that steadily increases pressure and squeezes some oil out of the seeds. After this, we now have a pressed oil cake. However, further extraction of oil is still needed. We can use a volatile solvent such as hexane that dissolves oil from the oil cake. Since the solvent is volatile, meaning that it has a low boiling point and can easily evaporate, then a distillation will be done to separate the oil from the mixture. Afterwards, the oil will be refined through a series of several processes in order to remove color, odor, and bitterness. The first step is to heat the oil to 85 degrees Celsius by adding an alkaline substance such as sodium hydroxide or sodium carbonate. By doing this, we can now remove the undesired fatty acids since a soap will form, which can be removed through a centrifuge. Next is degumming, where we add either acid or water, and this causes the gums in the oil to precipitate, and this could also be removed through a centrifuge. Afterwards, the oil is bleached by using an activated carbon filter. This process removes the colored or pigmented material in the oil. The oil is deodorized, in which steam is passed over the hot oil in a vacuum at 250 degrees Celsius in order to remove the volatile taste and odor components. After deodorization, a small amount of citric acid is added in order to prolong the oil's shelf life. Finally, it is then sent for packaging before being sold in supermarkets. The first step in butter production is to filter fresh cow milk to remove impurities. Then, it is passed into a centrifuge so that the cream could be obtained and separated from the milk. Then, the cream is pasteurized at 95 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes to destroy bacteria. The next step is ripening, in which bacterial food cultures are added to ferment the cream. However, this step is not necessary as it is more common in European butters. Afterwards, aging is done, which usually takes from 12 to 15 hours. This is carried out in order to crystallize butterfat globules and to ensure a proper texture of butter. Next is churning, which agitates the cream similar to the motion of a clothes dryer. After this, there will be two phases of butter, a semi-solid butter and a liquid buttermilk. Draining is performed to separate the butter from the buttermilk. Another optional step is to wash the butter with water to ensure that all the buttermilk is washed out. However, this process is rarely done in the industry today. Salt is then added to improve the butter's flavor and shelf life before it is sent for packaging. The first step in margarine production is to treat the oil, whether safflower oil, corn oil, or soybean oil, by a caustic soda solution to remove the free fatty acids. Next, the oil is washed using hot water. Then, it is bleached using bleaching earth and charcoal in order to remove any unwanted colorants, which are then filtered from the oil. Afterwards, the oil is hydrogenated by adding hydrogen gas under pressurized conditions. This process is what converts the unsaturated oil into a trans fat. Meanwhile, in a separate mixing tank, milk, salt, and lecithin are mixed together. Lecithin is an emulsifying agent that decreases the surface tension between the oil and this mixture. As a result, margarine is a semi-solid as it is neither fully liquid nor fully solid. In addition, the milk used must be first pasteurized. Afterwards, the hydrogenated oil and the mixture is sent into an emulsification chamber which mixes them both while maintaining a temperature of 38 degrees Celsius. Then, the margarine mixture is sent into a vatator where it is cooled to 7 to 10 degrees Celsius and left to sit in its semi-solid state. Finally, margarine undergoes packaging before being sold in supermarkets.
For major companies involved in fats and oil industry, first we have local companies. First is NutriAsia Incorporated. It operates as a producer, marketer, and distributor of sauces and condiments under these brand names: Dato Puti, UFC, Papa, Mang Tomas, Hufran, Golden Fiesta, and Happy Fiesta. The company has a total of 116 distributors locally and internationally. Second is Chen Banyek and Company Incorporated, or also known as Baguio Oil, the first locally owned cooking oil factory in the country, wherein its major products are vegetable oils such as coconut oil, corn oil, canola, and palm oil. Additionally, it has always been a trusted brand in the Philippines. Lastly is TransAsia Philippines Manufacturing Industries Corporation. This company produces a world-class safe edible fats and oil products such as pure blended mix and its derived products. Its specified products are vegetable oils, special oils, frying fats, butter oil substitutes, confectionery, and butter and margarine. For the international company, first we have Fonterra Cooperative Group Limited. The company derives its revenue from the collection, manufacturing, and distribution of milk and milk-derived products. Fonterra exports a wide range of dairy products to over 140 countries. Then, second is Filippo Berrio USA Limited. This company is one of the most famous producers of olive oils in USA. Furthermore, they also produce pestos, vinegars, and glazes. Then lastly is Savencia Fromage and Dairy. This company focuses on cheese specialties and high-value added dairy ingredients. Savencia Fromage and Dairy is among the world's leading milk processors, the number 2 cheese group in France and number 5 worldwide. This company provides high-quality cheeses, butter, and cream, and was recognized as the world's number 1 producer of cheese specialties.
So now, let's talk about statistics. On the global perspective, the oils and fat industry is a booming industry. It is currently valued at $247.78 billion in 2021 and is expected to grow to $270.55 billion in 2023. It currently has a compound annual growth rate or CAGR of 4.4%. The global production and consumption is led by Asia, which accounts for about half of the oils and fat produced and consumed worldwide. On the other hand, the global consumption of fats and oils is expected to grow from 2.5% to 3% annually. 30% of the total global consumption is from palm oil alone, while 25% is from soybean oil. Also, 3/4 of the global production is used for food applications such as frying. However, there is now a growing trend for the use of oil in biodiesel. In terms of top producing countries, Indonesia ranked first as it is the largest manufacturer of palm oil. China is the second, with it being the largest manufacturer of soybean and canola oil. Third is Malaysia and is the second largest manufacturer of palm oil. Meanwhile, the top consuming countries in the oil and fat industry are China, India, United States, Indonesia, and Brazil. China and India being ranked first and second may be due to the fact that both countries have an incredibly large population. In the Philippines, fats and oils are both exported and imported to and from outside of the country. In the Southeast Asian region, $46.35 billion worth of fats and oils is exported, while a value of $312.32 million is imported. In the ASEAN region, we import the most from Indonesia and Vietnam. Meanwhile, the total export value to European countries is $129.55 million. Now, let's dig deeper into the composition of some fats and oils. The figures above show the composition of some common acids and fats. It can be clearly seen that all of them have different compositions and they also differ in the dominant fatty acid present. Palmitic and oleic acid is the major components of butter, while lauric acid is for coconut oil, oleic and linoleic acid for corn oil, and oleic acid for olive oil. Among these products, olive oil has the fewest types of fatty acid present.
Fats and oils affect our cholesterol levels, and we usually associate cholesterol to be a bad thing. However, that is not always the case, as fats and oils are in fact an important part of a healthy diet. The human body uses these liquids as an energy reserve, for insulation, and also to make cell membranes. The kind of fat we consume is also important. This is because there are actually two kinds of cholesterols. First is the HDL or high density lipoprotein, which is termed as the good cholesterol. Then, you have the LDL, or low density lipoprotein, which is the bad cholesterol as it increases the risk for heart disease and stroke. Unsaturated oil increases HDL and decreases LDL, which makes it the healthiest option out of the three. Meanwhile, saturated fat increases LDL. The worst of all is trans fat, which increases LDL and decreases HDL. This is why butter will be the healthier option than margarine.